Hello and welcome back to Mr. Lamb Science Corner. Today we're going to talk about uh, kind of a favorite subject of mine, uh, and that is going to convention. Um, if you manage to get the funding to go to a convention, particularly the one that I guess I've done the most and have found to be the best is that of uh, the National Science Teacher Association. Uh, Kind of spendy a little bit once you get into registration, which isn't bad, but then rooms are always very expensive, and like this simply because they have to have them in big towns because um, they got to have they got to build a convention center that's big enough for everybody, and that usually means oh, reasonably expensive rooms, and there's food and all this other stuff. So if you can, there are grants available. There's money available. School districts very rarely will tell you they have all kinds of spare money, uh, but they do. Uh, just try to find out how many times an administrator goes to a convention, and you'll see how much spare money they have. Anyway, if you can get to a convention, if nothing else, the National Science Teacher Association does give regional conventions, and also a number of the states will run a state thing. Uh, the bigger the convention, the better it is. One of the great things about a national convention like NSTA puts on is that uh, if you have NSTA has all kinds of teachers putting on, for the want of a better term, stupid human tricks, uh, their best demonstrations. And I have learned a lot of the demonstrations I'm showing you by going to the conventions, because this is a great place to do it. They also will have handouts. Uh, what I'm going to talk about today is spending time in if you go to a science fiction convention, the Huckster Room. It's where they have booths for every imaginable thing, many of which have handouts. Some of them hand out their favorite demonstrations. Flynn Scientific is one of the better ones. They run at National Convention. They'll run a show where they showcase a number of demonstrations, uh, and they have handouts and they have materials, and just it's just a great thing. My wife and I went to last year's national convention. Um, they have one every year in basically in April, uh, and we came back. We took our car because it was in LA, and we came back looking like this because uh, the trunk was entirely filled with all kinds of stuff. We we gathered up all kinds of things. Um, and one of the things I got was this from something called Hands On Labs, which basically I know nothing about, but they had this nice little handout, and so I said, wonderful. And the interesting thing about this is that it changes color under temperature change. And so if you could get one of these things, and it's not just Hands-On Labs, uh, years ago, when Aladdin was popular, Burger King had a handout. The Aladdin, the genie would appear and disappear based on whether there was any ice cold pop in the cup or not. And all of that is done because of one of my favorite chemicals, cholesterol. Now, many of you may have a adverse reaction to seeing the word cholesterol because you've heard nothing but negative things about it. In actual fact, cholesterol is one of those chemicals that is so important to your well-being that you don't need to eat any cholesterol. You can survive quite well without eating any cholesterol as long as you eat the materials that provide the precursor chemicals to making cholesterol, because your body will make all the cholesterol it needs, assuming that it gets a source of fat to make it from. And um, the reason cholesterol is needed is that it provides the insulation around the nerves. If you've ever seen a bare wire, electric wire, touch another bare wire, you know that bad things happen. And if in your body you don't have any cholesterol, zero, then you have no protection, insulation around the nerves. And if one nerve touches another, bad things will happen. So you absolutely have to have cholesterol made up, but you don't need to eat it. So it's one of those weird things that you've got to eat the the olive oil and the things like that that the body will then turn around and make the cholesterol, but you don't need the cholesterol itself. Well, cholesterol, if you massage it a little bit chemically, it does some strange things, and it's very temperature sensitive. So the quick little demonstration that I have for you is to take a properly prepared cup and the cholesterol is in the plastic itself, and you take in this case, cold source, because it could be warm, it depends on how you massage the cholesterol, and you pour the cold water in there, and it turns orange. Now, I have seen this with cholesterol turning green and blue and other colors, but quite frankly, green is the color of Oregon, and orange is the color of Oregon State. And myself and my wife both graduated from Oregon State, so we're going to go with the orange. But you can see that it very quickly changes color, and then if I warm it up here, it's going to change back again. And if I just let it sit, yeah, eventually it'll all warm up to room temperature and it'll change back to color again. And they have used this for things like thermometers. They put something on the kid's forehead, and it's a lot better to do that than to stick a mercury thermometer into their mouth where they bite on it and break it and all this other stuff. So um, this is one of the number of ways that they have measure temperature without using mercury thermometer. But anyway, so cholesterol is a very interesting chemical, and if you can get a cup like this, you can buy these things. You can get them as demonstration devices. Sometimes you can even get them as a promotion for, well, Burger King had one. And I'm sure that other companies would have things too. So keep your eyes open for it. It makes a great little discussion. And even young kids have heard of cholesterol before, and many of them will have a negative attitude about cholesterol. And then, so if you can show them something kind of cool, literally in this case, about cholesterol, they might listen and understand that they really, truly do need a balanced diet because there are things happening inside their body that they really don't think a whole lot of, such as building insulation around nerves. Very important Very, very important. So anyway, that's it. Thank you very much.